Your morning blitz begins now.
All right. Just after 6, halfway through the work week.
Is it really? Because we haven't done today yet.
No, but if you're getting out of bed, you can kind of like muster up the strength to get through the next 8 hours.
Yeah.
Or at least some people.
We'll make it.
So I got that cut on my finger from yesterday. It's not bleeding anymore, but man, it stings.
You expect it to heal overnight?
No, I'm still trying to figure out how I got a cut that deep that I didn't even feel happen or know.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
You come up with a giant bruise on your leg. You're like, how did that? What happened?
And I'm wondering mentally, I didn't feel the pain until I saw it. Now I'm like, oh, I feel it all the time. Like, and I don't know why. Like, why didn't I feel the pain when it happened?
Happens all the time.
Not after I see it. Now I move my finger and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a cut there. Like before then, I'm like, didn't even know.
Like
bleeding out. Had no idea.
Oh yeah, I got one that's almost healed. I have no idea what that is or where it came from.
Are you flipping me off?
No, I'm holding on my whole hand.
No, just making sure. Well, your middle showed a little more prominence than the other 4. That's why I was asking.
I find scratches and stuff all the time. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, but do you get any when you're fishing on the boat and you don't realize it?
Yeah. I probably, well, if that's where it came from, I would imagine. I've come home with them, and I don't remember that.
Are we at the time in our lives when we're just talking about our maladies?
Probably.
No.
Because I've got a list. I mean, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
My back is better now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
What is going on?
Yeah, but I do the system check when I wake up in the morning.
Like, oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Head to toe?
I lay there and I'm like, all right. Hands are moving, feet are moving. Okay, I think I can stand up.
Doug said, dude, after you turn 40, you literally bump into a doorway and get a bruise.
You do?
Yeah. What has that bent over one time to grab the plunger and threw my back out? Just bending over to grab a plunger.
That's the thing. Do you guys think about that now?
I don't.
If I bend over, wait a minute, I got to make sure I'm super cautious. Do you like the cautious bend?
No, I don't. Right. I don't know. I stretch every day, man. I think it makes all the difference in the world.
It probably does.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, happy Superman Day.
Thank you.
Did you know?
I did.
I know. Kidding. Of course you knew.
Does a bear dump in the woods?
I didn't know there was a National Superman Day.
Absolutely.
But it makes sense. There should be, I suppose.
It's the greatest of all time. The one that others strive to be.
Jeez. So Derek just sent us a text, and I guess that's his steps at his house. This chipmunk just looks like it's posing, like in this awesome pose. So he grabbed a picture of it. Did you see that, Kelly?
Yeah.
And yesterday, in my backyard, since our neighbor's cat passed away, our chipmunks are back. They're everywhere. And they got a couple holes here and there that I've seen, and, I'll see them running around the shed and stuff. But where that big black cable from your air conditioner goes into your house?
Yeah.
And there's a little space around that. And we got some stuff to fill that in, but apparently we waited too long because had a chipmunk on our patio and walked over on the patio, and he scurried and ran right inside there.
Oh, really?
So I'm wondering how many more are inside there, and how the hell am I going to get them out of there?
It's like a hotel.
Yeah.
Casa de Thick.
And can they get inside the walls from there? Where does that space go? I mean, I know where where it comes into the house, but what's between,
you would be,
that little area there?
Here's the thing. You would be surprised how small of a hole an animal can find to crawl its way into. Like, you would think that, I can't even fit 3 fingers in there.
There's seen a mouse go under a door?
That's what I'm saying.
Like flatten itself?
That's what I'm saying.
But even like a cat. I mean, a cat will, if you've ever had a cat, you might open a cabinet and it's in something. It's like, how is that even possible?
Yeah.
But
you should probably call someone.
I'm going to go down. I got to take a look at that whole thing today and figure out.
Are you going
who do I call?
Are you going to do it yourself? You getting strapped and going down underneath there?
Is there a chipmunk busters? Yeah, I'm ready to have battle with a wild animal again.
I mean, is it doing destruction or?
There's nothing noticeable. I don't know if it's just a little space right inside there that it's hiding from us, or if it's got.
Yeah, you could just let it live.
Is it set up? But what if there's a home in there going on?
Yeah, well, they need somewhere to live.
Is Mrs. Thick?
You're the honoree.
You're supposed to live underground.
Is Mrs. Thick at home listening to you?
Maybe she was out. She knows.
No, I'm just wondering if they hear it now and they're like, dudes, he's coming for us.
They're talking about us on the radio.
We got to hide all our stuff.
No kill traps, Thick, said Goose. Well, I wasn't planning on that.
He's not going to use kill traps. He's getting strapped. He's going to murder him.
I just want him out of there before I put that filling stuff in around the AC cable.
I feel like Mike Funk just sent us a picture of the sun rising over his pot field.
What, say it again?
Fields are coming in nicely. Like it's the sunrise. I'm like, is that your crop?
Mine are. My plants are 2.5 feet tall now.
Well,
I'm stay out of it, chipmunk.
That's why they're there.
Bugs don't seem to bother them. Because I was wondering about that. What do you put? Do you have to spray them? And I'm like, I don't want to spray any chemicals on
your
pot plants.
Can't you use pesticide?
Well, that's what I don't want to do.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to smoke pesticide.
Why? Might give you a whole new eye.
I mean, I drink water. What's the difference? Right. But the bugs don't really bother them. I think maybe it's the smell of them, or maybe they get high off of it and don't like it. I don't know. But I haven't noticed a single bug bite on any leaf, so.
Here's an interesting fact. The human anus can stretch up to 7 inches before taking damage. A raccoon can squeeze into a hole as tight as 4 inches.
A raccoon?
Yeah, meaning you can take almost 2 full raccoons.
Stop.
Can I ask what you Google searched?
That's from Tyler. He sent that. I didn't.
Tyler?
We got it. Oh, it's a text.
I don't need a safe search to stay away from things like, how much room is there in my anus? No safe search necessary. That would have never happened.
You're going to get a whole new series of untastefully done black and white
exactly.
news. All right. We have got tickets to see Daniel Tosh again today. Also tickets to see Sarah Silverman, which we just announced yesterday morning. She will also be at Mershon Auditorium. That show Sunday, November 3rd. Tosh is coming up this Sunday. Tickets for both at Ticketmaster.com. Just after Kelly's 7 o'clock news, we'll give you a chance to win your choice of tickets. You'll get to pick which show you want to go to. Right now, Morning Blitz Trivia, $25 going out to the first person who can text in the correct answer at 99700. That's $25 to water beds and stuff. So a new article from the Huffington Post says the worst one-word text response you can send is this word. What is the word? What is the worst one-word text response that you can send? If you're the first one to tell us at 99700, you'll get that gift card.
Is it Billy Corgan? Is today really the greatest? Feel like that's all subjective. I mean, you got chipmunks in your house. It might not be the greatest day. Hanging out with your wife right now while you're not there. Dirty little bastards.
Man, Trash Man Dave said, you got chipmunks hanging around, you need to poison them. They destroyed a fuel line and some wiring on 2 of my vehicles. Over $1,000 in repairs. Apparently, they find some of the plastics used on vehicles delicious because of soybean oil used to make them.
Yeah.
Great engineering, huh?
Everybody has their own way. Some people want to do death by firing squad. Others want to go with the lethal injection.
Wait till mice make a home in your it's your riding mower engine or your car engine. Those little...
Yeah, what do you...
Man, they'll really cause some damage. We had a groundhog cause about $3,300 of damage to our septic system.
Wow.
Yeah. It just burrowed in and made a home underneath our porch where the septic system line goes. And, were we upset.
What do you got going on over there that your place has become a rodent radisson?
I said our neighbor's cat died.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it was an outdoor cat. We never had a chipmunk problem until...
No police in the area now, so they can just do what they want to do?
He kept them away.
Not to mention you provided a crop of chronic for them to enjoy while they're hanging out.
They don't seem to care about that, thankfully. But Kelly, does insurance cover that?
Didn't cover ours.
No?
Doesn't it? It really doesn't?
Actually, you know what? Charlie handled all that. So I don't know if we paid for it out of pocket or what.
I would think
I'm not sure.
You have a deductible.
It feels like you would have insurance for something like that.
Yeah?
It's not something you did on your own. That's when insurance is supposed to step in.
Oh, guys, I wish I knew. I don't. I'll have to text Charlie and ask what happened with
curious.
that.
Chad says animal damage to vehicles and homes is claimable on your insurance. I work with it all the time.
Oh, how about that?
So there you go.
How about that?
Are dirty chipmunks laying around playing with their nuts and smoking your weed all day? Warforyou.com. Robert Shuerger will be in at 7:20 today, by the way.
Richard and Amanda said had a chipmunk chew through his serpentine belt and vacuum lines.
Yeah.
once.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. That is absolutely enraging, isn't it?
They got some teeth, man.
They'll do some damage.
All right, our Morning Blitz trivia question today was from the Huffington Post. A new article says the worst one-word text response you can send is...
I send it all the
Is
time.
it okay?
That's a good one. I send that all the time, too.
What is it?
Now, you guys tell me I'm not supposed to use the thumbs up for
Sure.
some reason.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, that's it. Sure.
I get scowled at when the children go, thanks for dinner, and I say, sure.
Yeah, it does
Why do you
sound
say it like
passive
that?
aggressive.
Why do I
It
say
sounds
sure?
passive aggressive.
Because they're not welcome. I didn't want to do it.
Oh, so it is passive aggressive.
In his case, yeah.
Okay. I
Sure.
get that.
But
Sure it feels like you're being scolded for something. when
Does it
somebody
really?
is Sure. It's like they're mad at you.
See, I
Yeah.
didn't think, like, I didn't want to do it, so I didn't merit out of your welcome.
I gotcha.
Or I could be, you're welcome.
No,
I see.
that doesn't pack the same punch.
Right.
But in a text...
Oh, you're welcome.
And it's funny because Lewis and I were just talking about this morning, how we hate sometimes text. You don't get the actual feeling from it because it's text and you're not talking to somebody.
I sent Thick a text. He thought I was throwing shade.
No, I just thought you were like being very negative about something, which you weren't, and it wasn't a big deal. But anyway,
Great. She's...
I feel like if you went sure and gave a thumbs up with the sure, they'd believe you were really okay with it. You know,
now
but-
she's looking at me.
so emojis do help when it comes to texting, I feel like.
I think so.
You
To
know.
an
Wait,
extent.
a thumbs up and a sure? Now you're doubling down on this being a
because
jerk.
I'm making sure you know that I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm
no,
really
here's
okay
what you
with
do.
it.
Sure, followed by 3 exclamation points.
Right.
Now that's a friendly sure.
There you go.
Maybe you're being extreme in your passive
And it does depend
aggressiveness.
on what emoji you send. I don't want the eggplant emoji from anybody.
Even with exclamation
Absolutely.
points.
Then you're sending the wrong kind of message.
Is anybody sending you an eggplant?
No, but just once would be kind of cool.
But Isabel Stecker's a comedian, and she recently shared a screenshot of a text with her brother that said sure to something. And she said, if you're bringing sure attitude, then let's not do it. Because, you know, it's like, hey, do you want to go do this Friday? Sure. Do you really? You know, if that's all you got is sure. So that's why they feel this way. And 800,000 people agreed with it so far.
I get that. I think okay is the worst.
What about K?
I
Just the letter K.
said that last night because the girl kid was texting me to let me know she was leaving. I'm like, okay.
What if it's KK?
As long as there's not 3 Ks.
It's like,
Oh,
Then
yeah.
you're sending the
Gotta be
wrong kind of
careful.
message.
oh, jeez.
Doug, thanks for the 1 meatball, a-hole. Exactly. Sure.
Nikki says she's the female Lewis.
Nobody should be that, Nikki. There's still time. There's still hope.
I love that she opened with, oh, God, I'm the female.
Right? But you know what? Sometimes a sure or a K is just because you're in the middle of doing something and
Right.
you don't want to not respond.
Right.
So you want to send something to acknowledge that you, like last night, I was in the middle of taking care of the dogs. So the girl was letting me know she left. So I just said K because I have my hands full.
Mm-hmm. So that's okay.
I guess. I don't know.
But a
Apparently
thumbs up is not? What's the difference?
Nothing.
Oh, well, I was shamed for using thumbs up in here in this studio by the people around me.
When
Well,
you
we
say
probably had a
sure- I
good
love
reason.
it when you text sure because you do mean it the way I'm taking it. Like if you do just sure,
Yeah.
you're like, thanks for cooking dinner. You're like, sure.
Yeah.
And I know in my head you're like, oh, you're welcome. I love cooking dinner for you. It's the joy of my life.
Because you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to go to the grocery store for the 3rd time this week. I wanted to spend money on food that's going to go into the refrigerator and never come out until we throw it away. Sure.
You want to help me move this weekend? Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, right. All right. Katie McCullough from Greenfield was the first one to text in the correct answer, and she's got $25 to waterbeds and stuff.
Live on the Morning Blitz, 6:39 with Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. You said nothing when I said Throwing Copper, arguably one of the best alternative rock albums of the 90s, and I would be the meme that says change my mind.
Well, I didn't change your mind.
You didn't even try.
Why? Maybe that means I agree with you?
That's fine. But you didn't say anything, so then I'm left not knowing.
Jamming the Metallica.
It happens.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
I'd have to think about it. When you say one, say
one of the best.
One of the best. So how many out of what are we talking? Top 10?
I'd put it in my top 10 of the night.
All right.
I mean, it's a cover-to-cover listen.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and there's not a lot of albums like that anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
So
it's definitely a cover-to-cover listen.
You know, like Master of Puppets. That is a cover-to-cover album.
Absolutely.
Listen. For sure. So speaking of Metallica, they did this last year for the first time, and it is back. They have their metal marching band contest. This thing is so awesome. I love that they do this. Colleges and high schools are open to get in on this. You can submit your interpretation of a Metallica song for a chance to win. There are 5 categories, and each category will have 3 winners. Man, they get all kinds of stuff for their for their music department, instruments, gear, all that. If you win, like first place in the Collegiate Division 1 is $50,000 worth of gear and instruments.
Look at that.
It's very impressive.
And then $25,000 for second, $10,000 for third, and they've got 6 different categories here.
I love how they separate it out into sizes in terms of high school. Like if you're a really small high school with just less than, they said, 75 band members.
Yeah.
That's all separated out. Like you're not competing against those gigantic high school marching bands.
Yeah, you got large, medium, and small high school. You got an overall fan vote, and then you got 3 different college divisions. So, songs available that you can use: Enter Sandman, Master of Puppets, One, Fuel, Lux Eterna, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, Wherever I May Roam, Sad But True, Seek and Destroy, Hit the Lights, and Justice for All, and Until It Sleeps. And Justice and Until It Sleeps are both new this year. They were not on the list last year. So those are your choices, And, yeah, man, just go to MetallicaMarchingBand.com if you want more details and you want to submit, to get in on this.
Man, do I love it when a marching band throws some dance moves in.
It's pretty cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's very cool.
I love OU's marching band for that very reason. I mean, Ohio State obviously is incredible. But some of the high school bands out there, it's unbelievable. Blow you away how great they are. Yeah. And some even, like, the real small, I love watching a small school marching band. Absolutely love it. Because when they pack a punch, it is impressive.
Here's a promo for the competition with the band.
Attention all marching bands. Join us for year 2 of the Metallica Marching Band competition.
Together with our sponsors, we're going to award over $250,000 in brand new gear to the winning high school, college, and university marching bands from around the U.S.
We want to see your most impressive, creative performances of our songs. Learn more and get your band director to sign you up at MetallicaMarchingBand.com.
That is cool.
I'm trying to think among that list what would pack the biggest punch. But, I mean, they're all good. So.
A lot of bands do Enter Sandman.
Oh, do they? So stay away from Enter Sandman.
Yeah,
stay
I would
away
do
from
something
it.
different.
And Master's going to be huge thanks to Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And it just keeps coming back, I like Seek and Destroy. I think that would be a cool one. I don't know how many, because, that's an older song. I don't know how many are actually trying to do that. But, yeah, man. Get in on this. You've got till November 24th to get your video submission in. Fan voting period is December 1st through the 31st. They will announce winners on January 13th.
Nice.
So, also, speaking of Metallica, they this came up during a Q&A. Kirk Hammett and the guitar player from Metallica and bassist Robert Trujillo took part in this Q&A in Germany. It was at a book signing, and I love this. This was great because the answer was not Black Sabbath. Not that, Black Sabbath wouldn't be debatable in this question, which is, who are the real architects of heavy metal? So that topic came up, and there was a picture. They played at Power Trip Festival, and there was a picture of the guys in Metallica rocking out to Judas Priest, who was performing on stage. Metallica was playing on the last day of Power Trip, but there were several huge bands playing, and that was when Ozzy was supposed to play, and ended up, his health kept him from being in that. But they're rocking out, and Kirk says, "Yeah, we were worshiping at the altar of Judas Priest," and he went on Yeah. Altar. Yeah. Altar is also correct, isn't it, Kelly?
I mean, I've never heard anyone say it that way, but I understand what you mean when you say it that way, so I think that's just fine.
See, Kelly understands Grove City.
Okay.
They were worshiping at the altar of Judas Priest. But Kirk went on, and this is really cool. Listen to hear this. He went on to talk about Judas Priest and being a fan, getting to be a fan at the Power Trip Festival.
Their songs, their music means so much to us. And you know, the way Glenn Tipton and KK Downing played the guitars, I mean, they're architects of what we now know as heavy metal. To put it bluntly, James and I were just like, we love Priest. And we don't really get a chance to see bands a lot of times when we're playing like a huge festival or something. And so, you know, when we did Power Trip, we got there early, you know, a few days early, just so that we could see all the other bands. And it was great. And the anticipation of seeing Maiden, Priest, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, and actually seeing them, it was a wonderful time.
And it was kind of a trip because on the final day, it was like, oh, that's right, we have to play.
I enjoyed it so much. It's like, oh, man, it's our turn now?
Now, let me throw this at you. Have you ever heard of the band Anvil?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they were formed in the 70s, and there was a really excellent documentary on this band that basically a lot of people haven't heard about. It's called Anvil, The Story of Anvil. It's a documentary. I'll have to look up where you can watch it. But so many artists claim that Anvil was a huge influence on them.
Yeah.
Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax. They're all like, these guys were the bomb. Like, this is what sort of formed our idea of heavy metal, was this band Anvil. You guys, you have to watch this documentary. It is so excellent. It's got like little flavors of, what's the silly, the Spinal Tap. It's sort of, there's flavors of that, but this is also a real rock band.
Yeah.
And they just never quite made it.
Where's the documentary?
Let me look it up
and
see if I can find it.
I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Judas Priest, but I feel like Steel Dragon was the architect of metal. I mean, All Die Young was a great song.
Stop it.
What?
The only thing metal about them was Zakk Wylde played guitar in Steel Dragon.
Steel Dragon was a great band. Stone Sour on your morning blitz, 6:52. Kelly Quinn is here. That's Thick Rick. I'm Lewis. Welcome into a Wednesday.
What do you think the best run city in America is?
Best run city?
Best run city in America.
Huh.
Big Sky, Montana?
No.
Okay.
What is it?
Nampa, Idaho.
Oh, is that your second guess?
Yeah, that was, amazingly enough. Right there with Dumpwater, Florida.
Missoula, Montana was 10th.
Okay.
10th best run city.
Now, what makes a city best run?
Well, Sav McKee put this story in 614 magazine. Wallet Hub compiled a list of the best versus worst run cities, measuring how well city officials manage and spend public funds by comparing the quality of services residents receive against the city's total budget. And they compared the operating efficiency of 149 of the largest U.S. cities. 6 categories they scored on: financial stability, education, health, safety, economy, and infrastructure, and pollution.
May I vote for the city of Dublin, Ohio to be on that list? Because I tell you, I don't live in Dublin. I've never lived in Dublin. But that city is absolutely beautiful. It is so nice. When I'm driving through there, I'm like, I know you people pay taxes. Like, you pay a lot of taxes. But I see those taxes at work.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous in Dublin.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
You've got parks. It just feels like it's meant for the residents. Like, we are doing a lot of stuff for you guys because you're paying us a lot of money to do that.
Right. Yeah, but you know what else? Dublin looks clean.
Yeah, it does.
It is clean. Some of the top 10 here, would surprise you. Lexington, Fayette, Kentucky was number 2. Is it Nashua, New Hampshire? Nashua?
Yeah, the only reason I know that is because of The Office.
Lexington has a couple of things going for it. It's got a lot of southern charm, for one. A lot of old money in Lexington. There's not everybody knows the difference between old money and new money. like old money in Lexington, like a lot of horse racing money, all that kind of stuff. Lexington's got I can see where that would be on the list.
Boise, Idaho, Provo, Utah, Lincoln, Nebraska, Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 7.
Okay,
Yeah, but
let me tell you, that is the most boring drive.
Right?
As you're going from
I've
here
done
to
it.
Chicago,
Yep.
you go through Fort Wayne, you are like, what is going on
Right.
here? I mean, it feels like nothing. It
Right.
feels like the longest part of the drive is through Fort Wayne.
A friend of mine worked in Fort Wayne. They have done quite a revitalization
Yeah, I need to
project
go through
there.
again. It's been a number of years. I need to go through Fort Wayne again.
Sioux Falls, San Diego, South Dakota. Sorry, I almost said San Diego. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, at number 8. Las Cruces, New Mexico, number 9, and Missoula, Montana, number 10. Yesterday we talked about they're going to build the tallest building in the country in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
They're the 11th best run city in the country.
How about that?
Now, let's look at Ohio. Checking in at number 146, Cleveland.
Shocker.
And residents agree. More people fleeing Cleveland every year. According to the 2020 census, their population dropped to only 320,000 after losing 600,000 people over the past 70 years.
Wow.
There's a reason it's been dubbed the mistake by the lake.
I love
The
Cleveland.
land.
I absolutely love Cleveland. I love it there.
And residents do too, and they know it's one of the worst run cities, but they still love it.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I'd been hammered drunk in the flats of Cleveland before.
I went to kindergarten in Cleveland.
Did you really?
Cleveland Heights.
Wow.
So I have a say in this.
And at number
as a
5-year-old.
5-year-old.
And at number 112, Toledo. And once booming, now factories have all shut down, industries all moved out or overseas. It's a shell of what it was. And that's kind of what happened to Portsmouth. Same thing's happening to Toledo. So then you got Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, Akron. I'm going up. Akron was the best run major city in Ohio at number 80.
How can you say Akron?
I don't know.
Major city.
Oh, Goodyear. Yeah.
Okay, but can you
large
call
employer.
Akron a major city, though?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
That's one of the big ones in
You're
Ohio.
talking about 149 populations.
See, I think major cities in Ohio, I think Cincinnati,
The three
Columbus.
Cs.
And,
Right,
I think
but
three Cs.
remember, the list is the 149 biggest cities in the country.
Okay.
So Akron is one of the 149. Obviously, it's not bigger than Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, but Dayton's 103. Columbus was 92. We're the 92nd best run city.
I'll take it.
Who do you think is the worst run city in the country?
I mean, Los Angeles,
I'll give
New
you the
York
big three.
City,
The two you said,
Chicago.
add Detroit, Michigan to
How
that,
about
and you've got the big three.
Detroit maybe, but Chicago, I don't know. I'm going to guess Chicago.
Chicago's 138.
Okay.
New York is 147.
Okay.
The worst run city out of the 149, San Francisco, California.
Oh, that makes sense.
And outside of the top 100, San Fran, Oakland, Riverside, Long Beach, L.A., Stockton, Sacramento, Fresno, Modesto, Bakersfield,
California.
San Jose, all these major cities in California, none of them in the top 100.
I can
all
never
the worst
figure
run
out
cities in the
California's financial problems. There's so much, ungodly amounts of money that flow through California, and they're in debt. How is that possible?
Chicago was also one of the worst run, and it's funny because Sav McKee, who wrote the article, she's from Chicago, and she goes, and I know it's terrible, but I love it. I loved living in Chicago.
Well, we all love our cities, no matter where we're ranked.
So,
You know?
at least we weren't last.
And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
A federal jury in Delaware has convicted President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, on felony gun charges stemming from his purchase of a Colt revolver in 2018 when he was addicted to crack. The verdict was handed down after 3 hours of deliberations. Hunter Biden was found guilty of 2 counts of making false statements about his drug use when he bought the weapon and 1 count of illegal possession of a firearm by a drug user or addict. The 3 counts carry up to 25 years in prison, but whether he actually serves any time whatsoever will be up to the judge, and she has not yet set a date for sentencing.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, first time offender, and this is not a violent crime. Well, oh wait, is it considered when a gun's involved?
I don't know.
Yeah, there was no violent crime committed. Well, it's interesting. I don't know. The actual sentencing will be a very, very interesting day. Now, this is just the first of 2 cases against Hunter Biden brought by the Justice Department Special Counsel David Weiss. Hunter also faces felony tax evasion charges in a separate prosecution that's scheduled to go on trial in September.
Okay.
Prosecutors allege that Hunter Biden engaged in a 4-year scheme to not pay at least $1.4 million in income taxes for the tax years 2016 through 2019. So,
somebody went into AI, which just sucks information from the internet. That's what it does, OpenAI. And then they got it to use Joe Biden's voice to make a statement about the results of the trial.
As I said last week, I am the president, but I'm also a dad. Jill and I love our son, and we are so proud of the man he is today. Honestly, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. It's times like these that test a family. And if there's anyone in this family that needs testing, it's Hunter. We will learn from this. But that little idiot is not getting another laptop, that's for sure. We love him very much. But don't get me started about that bag of cocaine in the White House coat room. What a dumb ass.
So there's AI for you. That, again, if you're just tuning in, that was not really Joe Biden. It was AI, wrote that, spit that out.
Wow, isn't that something else? Well, this is quite a somber story here, but today is graduation day for seniors at Newtown High School in Connecticut. And of the 330 kids graduating, 60 of them survived one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. Back in 2012, 20 of their fellow first graders and 6 educators were murdered at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Most of the 60 children who survived were not in the 2 classrooms where the shootings took place. They were down the hall. There was only 1 surviving child from one of the classrooms and 11 surviving children from another classroom. But all 60 of those survivors have dealt with trauma in one way or another over the years, many in therapy, dealing with post-traumatic stress, anxiety, and depression. Some have become anti-gun violence activists, and all of them say they will carry Sandy Hook with them forever. Do you believe it? It was... those kids are graduating now. The tiny little first graders that were in that horrifying massacre, all graduating from high school. The 20 children killed at Sandy Hook will be honored today during the ceremony, but details have been kept under wraps. So that is, a milestone that has got to be quite sad for the families of the dead children. So anyway, those are your 3 things.
7:23 on the morning Blitz. Kelly, Vic, and Lewis, and congratulations to Scott Hartlow. Reynoldsburg taking the Daniel Tosh tickets because he was given the choice to do so.
So we will still have Sarah Silverman tickets to give away next hour.
We will. Yes. And welcome him in. It's good to have him back. Love it. The legend. He'd have been here sooner, but we found out a tribe somewhere in the jungle wasn't allowed to have internet, and he said, not on his watch. Went down there holding the severed heart in one hand, telling the chief, let's dance. Robert Shuerger.
Slapping in Robert Shuerger.
Did you see that story, Robert?
Peyote and the other. No.
Oh, yeah.
In
the Amazon. This tribe. They got internet for the first time through...
and now all of a sudden there's infidelity and a bunch of...
porn. Kids are watching porn.
Instantly.
But my favorite thing was the leader of the tribe says, all the kids have become so lazy all of a sudden.
Everybody remembers the first time they found the hub, right?
The kids are in the tents. No one's working.
Right.
There's another movie on.
Yeah.
It's free.
They started limiting it to like 2 hours a day during the week, and like you could do it all day. You can be on the internet all day Sunday. But now because if they don't hunt and cook, they don't eat in that village.
Oh yeah,
that's
the Industrial Revolution coming to the Amazon.
That's true. This is true.
So we have a lot to get to regarding guns that we want to talk to you. We'll do that coming up because there's a lot more. But I did want to ask you about one thing here that came up the other day, and it's about HOAs. And somebody said they were trying to. We had a listener text in, said they were trying to get the president of the HOA to show them the books to see where the money that they were paying was being spent. He refused to do it. Can you make? I mean, it's because it's not like it's his private business, an HOA. Why did...
And the HOA members are generally voted in by the residents.
Yeah.
So the residents would have a right to see those books.
Yeah.
And during an HOA meeting, you would stand up and ask the treasurer to see the books. I mean, the books are open to the people.
That's what I thought. But
Have him give me a call.
They said it was
we'll go to war for him.
They said it was super suspect. You know, the whole thing was shady. That's why they wanted to see the books, and then he wouldn't show them.
Yeah, she said that she spends $600 a month on fees. And they have said they're not doing any work this year, including if you want mulch, you need to put your own mulch in, and you're not getting reimbursed
because they used to cover it.
Oh wow, yeah. No, I remember dealing with an HOA. I lived in Summit Chase for years, so I remember the politics of the HOA and everybody trying to figure out why the fees are going up but services are going down.
Right.
Jeez.
There was misconduct.
And you realize, hey, somebody put a bunch of money in this big sculpture out front, but we're not opening the pool this year.
Why hasn't there been anything to essentially either change the way they operate or ban HOAs altogether? Because you never hear anybody saying anything good about them. They're always getting...
Well, the HOAs are also in a tough position because they're elected to govern basically the body of the residents in the complex. So you're never going to satisfy everybody through an HOA. But it's the best way, I think, is a process for transparency with what you're paying for the fees. In this instance, transparency doesn't seem to be a priority for this HOA that you talk about, Rick.
You know, I think the whole point of an HOA is just to keep the basics, to keep your neighborhood nice and clean, to keep your property values up. You don't want the neighborhood becoming run down. Like where I live, we don't have an HOA, and if we drive down the street, somebody's grass is a foot high, and they got trash.
And that's why you sign the documents when you move into a complex like that. That forces you to be governed by the HOA and have to abide by those rules.
But why can't there be like just a neighborhood committee that you're governed by instead of an HOA? Because a lot of times you have the HOA that doesn't even live there. But they're telling you
that happens?
So those are in instances where somebody has like a vacation place at the house or the building, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So they kind of fly.
So they own something.
Yeah. I remember dealing with that when I had a place up at Huron, and I didn't realize you couldn't Airbnb the place, so I started doing it. And all of a sudden, the
HOA said
I got a call. The HOA's like, "Hey, have you read the bylaw?" I'm like, "What do you mean? This is Airbnb. This is the only way I'm going to be able to keep this place."
But it's just it's weird that they're telling you're letting somebody who's not even there tell you what to do with your property that you paid for. And again, I get it when it comes to like the trash, the neighbor, you don't want, hey, this guy's got 3 trucks in his driveway on blocks. What the heck's going on there?
Well, and also, I think you hit it. The HOA is meant to help govern and keep up the facility or the apartment complex. The problem is sometimes the HOA, as you said, Steve, they get out of whack. I mean, Lewis, they get out of whack. So
yeah. I got a friend, he says they constantly are walking the neighborhood just trying to find anything to fine you for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, now all of a sudden it's become a money generating.
Right.
It's almost like student loans, right? Initially when you got a loan, it's supposed to be low interest from the government to go to college. Next thing you know, it's at 12% interest rate and the government's making money.
Well, because you have the HOA has its hall monitors.
That's
like I was saying yesterday, I'm like, the bylaws say you have to park 6 inches from the curb. You park 4.5.
We're going to fine exactly. That's another $50.
According to my ruler, your grass is a quarter of an inch taller than we demand it be.
Right, and you better believe we measured.
Yeah, we have pictures.
Exactly.
Are you paying $600 a month for your HOA and not getting mulch and you're getting overfined? Warforyou.com.
740, your morning blitz with Kelly, Quinn, Vic, Rick, and Lewis, and joined by our favorite attorney, Robert Shuerger, this morning. And random gunplay. It's finally time to bring this up.
Oh, my gosh, man. Yeah, Kelly, you did this story the other day, and we were just baffled by this. It's like, why does anybody even get involved in stuff like this? It happened in just southeast of Dayton in Beaver Creek. A driver in a work van told 911 dispatchers he was driving north on I-675 when another man made gestures toward him and then pulled up next to him and opened fire while they're driving on the freeway. The van driver said then he grabbed his gun and returned fire. And the van driver suffered minor injuries. Authorities have spoken with the other driver. He was not hurt. They haven't filed any charges yet, but it's under investigation. And so our big question was for you, if I'm driving and I've got a, concealed carry permit and I've got a gun in my car and somebody starts firing at me while we're driving, am I allowed to fire back?
But before we get there, you can now in Ohio keep your gun loaded, right?
Yeah.
In your car, because used to be you couldn't. You couldn't have it loaded.
Yeah.
So that is legal now.
Yeah.
To have a loaded gun in a car in Ohio. Is that with or without a concealed carry permit?
That's a good. Well, in Ohio, you don't need the conceal and carry anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So anybody can have a loaded gun in their car. Okay, well, there's that question solved.
Well, in this instance, these guys would have been charged for having a loaded gun.
Well,
in their car.
that's true.
So without that charge, that's with no charges there.
Duh. So what about firing back though? You're in a moving car,
vehicle,
but you're being shot at.
You're being shot at, so you
broad
have
daylight on a freeway. Crowded freeway.
Well, here's the thing. Now, the details of the situation, right? Were they parked at a red light where the guy pulled up and they're sitting there, still?
It's a freeway. It's I-675. There's no lights.
So in stand your ground rule, if you feel that you're in a situation where you're going to be in harm's way, your back's against the wall, you have the opportunity to protect yourself in self-defense. In the facts of this case, if you're driving and he's shooting at you, and instead of trying to get out of the situation, meaning you're not returning fire but trying to go somewhere else, if you continue to pursue him in order to fire at him, I would say that would not fall within stand.
Right? Yeah, if you're chasing.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is to get out of the situation,
to defend yourself.
Yourself. But if you're chasing, you go from defending yourself to all of a sudden now becoming the aggressor.
So if he comes up and he's pulling a gun out and I try to just slow down to let him go past, and then he slows down and keeps trying to shoot, then I have no choice.
In that situation, shouldn't you try to evade first? And I know there are a lot of people that say, well, you're firing at me, I'm firing back. But let's just say you're on a moving freeway. Grandma June is super excited because she's got her Buick going 52 miles an hour in a 65. She's on her way to Kohl's to pick up that bedding set that she's been eyeing for the last couple of weeks.
It's on sale.
And all of a sudden, thank you.
So do you just let him kill you?
And all of a sudden, she gets hit by random gunfire because you guys are.
Yeah, then you'll be up for an involuntary manslaughter charge.
But do you just let him kill you?
No, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Do you try to evade? Like if somebody shoots at you, do you pull over? And then if he still keeps shooting,
right? So when you bring the facts in front, those are the facts you have to ask, right? Because did you try to evade first, and then the last resort way to defend yourself was to fire back? So the facts of the case are going to have to come out on whether you would fall under the stand my ground ruling, meaning that you could not evade, therefore you had to return fire. But if there was a clear opportunity to evade, that would have to be the first. That would have to be your first move, is to attempt to evade. Well, in this circumstance, when you're talking about driving on the freeway.
All right. If anybody's got any, by the way, gun questions at all, any kind of legal question, you can text it in at 99700. Because we just started getting all these texts saying, well, you can't even have a loaded gun in a car, and I'm like, well, I don't think that's the case anymore. I'm glad you cleared that up because. Because the laws all changed within the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Yep. Everything did. And where are you on the whole? So I would never want anybody to take away my right to own a gun. If I want to own a gun, I should be allowed to. But I do also agree with these universal background checks. I think we need to not be just giving guns to anybody at gun shows, because if you are a hardened criminal, no, I don't want you having a gun.
Yeah. There's a lot of loopholes out there, but I think a universal background check is just common sense.
Yeah, why are we not doing that?
I don't know. Here's where like someone just said, so pull over and make it easier for them to shoot you? Not necessarily, but again, you got to look at your situation. And then there's the other people, you don't have time to think, you just have to react. I get it, Maverick, but at the same time, like I'm also one for all the people who want to crack down on gun laws. I feel like it's an exercise in futility. I don't think it works. And the reason I say that is because everybody in this room, well, maybe not Kelly, but everybody in this room at one point in time was under the age of 21.
Wait, what?
Let me finish. And at one point in time, somebody in this room under the age of 21 went, you know what? I'd like to get me some booze.
Oh,
so I
okay.
can try to get lucky on a Saturday night.
I
Now,
gotcha.
I could not go in and get the booze myself.
Right.
But I damn sure was able to find someone to do it for me.
Yes.
And that same thing will apply to a gun law. You might not be able to buy a gun yourself because you can't pass a background check, but I guarantee if you've got a little extra coin, you can get someone to buy that
sure.
gun for you.
You can get anything if you got money. Money will get you anything in the world that
you're
you want.
punishing the wrong people. The people who have ill intent that want a gun will find a way to get a gun and circumvent
whether they're
whatever
legal or
law
not.
is in place. So you've wasted a lot of time and a lot of money putting something in place that's most likely not going to work.
But, you know, somebody in the heat of the moment goes into a Walmart and attempts to buy a gun. Right,
yeah,
and they obviously have a record or have a mental health issue. You know, you're not going to be able to stop every instance of that. But I think you want to create something as simple as a universal background check, where you type somebody's name into the system, and if they have issues, then they're not going to get the gun. But obviously, like your point, Lewis, if they really want it, then they can have their friend. But then their friend has to understand that they will then become liable. In the crime that takes place, because if they bought the gun for the person, you know, therefore they're breaking the law there. If that person uses that gun to murder somebody, then all of a sudden they've roped that person in. So the implication of somebody to do that, they would have to recognize that now they're going to be a part of the crime if that is carried out.
Right. Steve says making good people helpless won't make bad people harmless. But, you know, and I get it, and there's so many debates. Like Jason,
It thick, like you said, the right to a gun, lawful, law-abiding gun owners.
Yeah,
that's a fundamental right in this country.
Right. But Jason got a little upset, and hopefully I can calm you down, Jason. He says they're going to get guns anyway. Man, stop hating on the people that screwed up a little bit previous in their life and still need to defend themselves. Criminals are going to get guns anyway. You guys are dumb. And it's like, yeah, I know. You know, and if you outlawed guns completely, criminals are still going to get their hands on guns. But we don't have to make it easy for them. That's all we're saying.
Exactly.
You know? And as far as screwing up a little bit in the past, I think we're really strict on that, and times too much so. And, you know, because if somebody's paid their price and paid their debt to society, they deserve another chance.
Now, I do fully believe there should be a degree to which what kind of gun the common person should be able to own. And I say that in the sense that if you want to go to a range under supervision and fire off a bunch of military guns, more power to you. But Johnny off the street who loves Rambo movies does not need to be able to purchase an M150. And I know you cannot. Well, I'm just using it as an example. You know what I mean?
All right. Travis said, I missed it. Are you allowed to carry a loaded gun without concealed carry in a car? Yes. We don't have concealed carry anymore. You can conceal carry in Ohio, a loaded gun, and you can carry one in a car.
And I'm just surprised that there were no charges filed to either of them.
At all.
Yeah. At all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would love to see the police report on that. What was the narrative?
They're still investigating.
Yeah. What was the narrative they both said that justified them shooting at each other?
Crazy.
And then to say it's a wash.
7:53 on the Morning Blitz with Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. People get passionate about their guns.
I
no one's
get it,
trying
man.
to take their guns.
I understand.
Full auto is not your birthright.
I know. That was funny. We were having this conversation off the air. Lewis said, somebody texted in and said, full auto is my birthright. And you guys
Read
were like,
the G-damn Constitution.
But full auto didn't exist. I mean, you got a musket.
You were allowed to own a musket, so an Indian wouldn't take your land. My God, morons.
Now. That's why we're here. We're here to educate people. Hell, I get educated every day on this show because I'm stupid.
Right. And the people, you're the dumbest people giving gun advice. It's a felony to buy a gun. It's a felony to buy alcohol for somebody. The argument holds up. You just don't like it. God.
Relax. Hey, when you came in, we were talking about a couple different documentaries, the Ashley Madison documentary, and I brought up the TikTok cult.
Dancing with the Devil.
Dancing with the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. I just thought it was interesting. Wondered what you thought about it, and I don't know how much you've,
Yeah, watch the
followed-
Ashley Madison
any-
one. I've got to. I'll watch the TikTok one next.
Yeah, well, just the cults in general. One of the things I learned from this is how hard it is to prosecute a cult, because a cult is not illegal. Being a cult leader is not illegal, and apparently brainwashing people is not illegal. So what do you do?
So, in the charges in the past against cult leaders always usually emanated from some type of sexual assault or something that has happened that is a crime.
Right.
That then, devolved into the story of the cult and how they were able to groom and bring victims in.
Yeah, and this guy Shin, who's the leader of this 7M cult, it's funny how all these cult leaders all seem to get to have sex with all the women, even the women whose husbands are in the cult.
Yeah.
I'm like, and they're like, okay, yes, it's her turn. Go ahead.
That's
like,
Crash
what?
And
And
you
you
go.
think- Yeah. You really think this is okay? You're here willfully? Really? You haven't been brainwashed? So...
Well, and that's the thing. So I guess in the charges on the TikTok one, are there allegations of sexual assault?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's really what the drive of it is.
Yeah, that trial is actually coming up next year.
Yeah.
The
So
trial
that's-
from that.
Yeah.
whole thing.
When it starts to involve that, that's when action takes
Yeah.
place.
There-
When
one-
people are in harm's way.
One girl said, I did anything he told me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, you poor people.
And usually, then sometimes it ends up with underage children in the mix, and that's with these cults.
Yeah, because these people get in these cults and they bring their whole family.
Yep, exactly.
It's like crazy.
Yeah, it's like Scientology.
Yeah.
These little Scientology kids running around.
It's like Jim Jones back in the day. Speaking
Guyana
of
tragedy.
yeah, and the congressman
David
You got-
Koresh.
Koresh and Waco. Yeah. Jim Jones,
Yeah.
man. That's where the whole drink the Kool-Aid came from.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where it started.
And
Dude, there's audio I got from the internet, the actual audio of the end of that tragedy where he's telling the people, come drink.
oh yeah, the loudspeakers.
Yeah, and you could hear them walking up, and you could hear people crying. I mean, it was the actual audio when they all killed themselves. It was crazy.
No, that was one of the most insane endings of a cult.
Yeah. I don't understand.
Waco wasn't much better.
Heaven's Gate was terrible.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate,
that's another
yeah.
one.
I don't understand how they all just can't see. You know what I mean? Like how you can get yourself so blinded by someone.
They prey on your dreams.
For
First
sure.
off, it's like this TikTok cult. These people who all join are young people who are dancers on TikTok, and they get in there and start making this money. And he's making them stars online, and then that's how he sucks them in.
Oh yeah, and it's usually a charismatic leader.
Yes.
that drives it. It has to be
Oh,
somebody
he
who
is-
has a calling to be able to.
He is God to these people.
Yeah.
And it is a very religious cult as well. It's about, it's supposed to be a talent management agency.
But he weaves religion
yes,
into the.
exactly. Well, he has a church. What's the church called, Kelly? What was it?
Dang it.
But yes, he does.
Okay, yeah.
Shekinah.
Yeah. So, man. Well, here we are again, out of time.
No, yeah.
Oh, we need to get to talk about the Ashley Madison documentary. Darn it.
You want to hang out? You wanna stick
Yeah,
around?
yeah.
You got
We'll
anybody
stick
to-
We'll stick
All right,
around
we'll
and
come back
jump
with
into Ashley
Kelly.
Madison.
Yeah, we'll come back with Kelly's news and then get to that.
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
Well, for anyone who's had trouble finding an apartment or other rental home that will accept pets, Ohio lawmakers are considering a bill known as the Pet Friendly Rental Act. The legislation would give a tax credit to landlords who allow tenants to have dogs and cats. In an exchange for that tax credit, any property owner who agrees to that, they cannot charge you a non-refundable pet fee, and they are not able to limit the animals based on breed or size.
Wow.
So that's pretty interesting. The bill has not been voted on yet. It's been making its way to to a vote on the House floor, but it's an interesting little law that is in the works.
Pet lovers will be in support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Florida jury has found banana company Chiquita Brands liable for financing a Colombian paramilitary group deemed a terrorist organization
Protect the bananas.
by the U.S.
Charo involved?
So listen to this. Prosecutors say with the banana money, the paramilitary group was able to ramp up its violence, including human rights abuses and murder. And Chiquita has been ordered to pay $38 million to the families of 8 people killed by this group. Chiquita says it plans to appeal. But there's a second case against Chiquita brought by another group of victims. It's going to start next month. So back in 2007, Chiquita pleaded guilty to making over 100 payments to this paramilitary group, totaling over $1.7 million. Wow. They knew the group was designated a terrorist organization, but Chiquita recorded these payments as security services. So we do know at the time Chiquita was trying to expand its business in an area controlled by this terrorist group. So there you go. Look at the labels on your bananas, folks. What's become an interesting problem when trying to convince Americans to switch to electric vehicles? Thieves targeting EV charging stations and stealing the cables, which contain copper wiring, and disabling entire stations. So it's forcing EV owners on the roads across the country into a desperate and stressful search for a working charger. 3 of the leading EV charging companies have all reported an alarming rise in the thefts of cables this year alone. In fact, at one charging station in Seattle, their cables were cut 6 times in the past years for the copper. In the past year.
You ever feel like the criminals are always just one step ahead of everybody else?
So apparently stealing these cables is not difficult. You just pull up with a pair of bolt cutters, and within a couple minutes, you can disable an entire charging station. And right now, the price of copper is a near record high on global markets, which means criminals can collect more and more cash from selling the copper. So they're going to have to figure that one out if they want the rest of us to buy electric vehicles.
Selena Park on the Morning Blitz. Good morning. It's 8:10 with Dick, Kelly, and Lewis. And Robert Shuerger hanging with us.
So you guys want to talk Ashley Madison.
Yeah. Did you like the documentary?
You know, I did. And I was surprised at the fact that they never were criminally charged for stealing the millions of dollars, where they told people that their profiles would be erased.
Yes.
They charged them the money. They never erased it. But then they never charged Ashley Madison to give the people a refund. It just left it like they basically stole this money, and here we are. Then the fact that they were able to survive this, and that a company actually wanted to come in and take them over.
You believe that?
Is amazing.
Wow.
And now they boast 70 million users, and then you look back and realize, after talking to the staff in that documentary, that a majority of the profiles on there from the women were bots.
Yes.
So people whose names were in the system probably never even had an affair. They were talking to a bot.
Shocker.
And they got divorced over it. They're like, honey, I did not cheat on you. I was just talking. They're like, no. And that was probably the truth.
You're right.
They didn't meet anybody.
You couldn't, yeah. I wonder how many of these dating sites have just, they're just fake women. They're not really women.
There are a lot of scammers. I have a family member who's from time to time goes on the sites, and it was like, well, maybe I'll meet someone this time, and inevitably it's somebody going after a few texts and pleasantries, ask about buying Bitcoin and all this stuff. The interesting thing to me was the Impact Team hackers. They've never done anything like this before or since, and it does seem to be somebody's personal moral vendetta.
My gut tells me it was somebody on the inside who couldn't stomach the lies that the CEO was espousing.
Yes.
I mean, he was a great villain for the industry, and I think they realized, somebody inside, that they were ripping people off. The bots were ripping people off. The fact that they were not getting their profiles erased, they were ripping people off. It had to have been somebody on the inside who was technically savvy, when you look at that documentary, that had the access and the ability to grab all of that without a trace. And the guy that they thought had it, they offered him $500,000, and he pushed it away.
Yeah.
He didn't take the money.
It was not about money.
No. Yeah, whatever.
Man.
The couple was fascinating to me. The vloggers, the husband who had an Ashley Madison account, and
very Christian.
Throughout the 3 episodes, you find out more and more. Just this guy is continuously hiding and lying, and sort of admits to a partial truth, and it's just really, really interesting to find out the whole story of this guy. And my thought is, I don't know how he convinced his wife to stay with him after all this.
Well, and it sounded like his second life was happening well before even Ashley Madison. And it didn't say in the documentary if he even met anybody on the Ashley Madison site. It sounded like his affairs all took place outside of Ashley Madison.
Yeah, they weren't super clear about that.
Yeah, but Ashley Madison...
that was weird.
Yeah, Ashley Madison was kind of the entry point. He was on the web, put his information in. But towards the end of the documentary, when they did their mea culpa together, the revelation was that when he told her about all his affairs, it sounded like all of them happened outside of Ashley Madison, and the website was the gateway, that even though he didn't have an affair through that website.
Right, because they're all bots.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
It's an interesting... the Dallas Morning News did an interesting follow-up with this couple, and they're kind of salty about the documentary. They're like, they didn't include anything about, our Christianity and how much that helped us through this, et cetera, and so forth. But this wife continues to defend. She's like, well, they make it seem like he was like out there all the time having sex with various women, and it only happened like once or something. I'm like, I think he admitted to way more than one.
Even in the documentary, he admitted to multiple affairs.
Like with a prostitute or something, and I mean, I'm not sure, but it's just interesting that she continued. It's fine, whatever. They have made it through this. Yeah. God bless them. That's a tough road. But it's just an interesting, if you can get a hold of that Dallas Morning News article on these two people.
Yeah, Ashley Madison really turned out to be almost like a honeypot type of situation for people, because they ended up not even having an affair, but got caught thinking about it.
Right.
You thought about that. That was enough to ruin millions of marriages.
Yes.
All right, guys, we are out of time. Unfortunately, Robert, always a pleasure.
I love coming in.
Oh, it's so great to have you.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Robert Shuerger from Shuerger and Shannara Legal Offices. And if you ever need him, go to warforyou.com and he will
follow us on Instagram at warforyouLaw.
Justin now wants to know: can you have a CC now that weed is legal?
Well, there is no CC.
Okay.
And there's not one.
Yeah.
There's not one.
Someone said that and I'm sorry for not knowing your name. Someone said there is still a concealed carry. It's just not necessary in Ohio, but it does help when you go to other states.
Oh, okay. What does it? I thought those were a state-by-state
Yeah, it is
license.
state-by-state license.
Yeah, the permit. So.
I guess you could have a potential defense to say, well, I have a permit in this state, even though I'm in this state. Now, that could be that's a thin line, but potentially a defense.
See, here comes one of these texts.
Doug Rogers, he just texted, were you the victim of a 6-month-long romance with a bot? Warforyou.com.
Yeah.
Right? I love it.
We're going to get your money back.
All right, thanks, Robert. And next time, can't be soon enough.
Yeah, you got it.
All right,
thanks, everyone.
It's the Morning Blitz, 826, Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. Thank you for all your comments during our time with Shuerger.
I miss him already.
You don't have to agree with everyone, but the beauty of it is everybody can have their own opinions.
Yeah.
Still agree on certain things, but disagree on certain things, and end it at that. And again, no one is advocating that anybody take your guns.
No.
That drives me crazy.
You'll pry from my cold, dead hands.
Someone said that more education about guns are necessary, and I 1,000% agree with that.
Sure. That's always going to be helpful.
I believe the text was worded, people get their education from guns for how firearms are portrayed in movies, and that is 100% true.
Probably. There's a lot of truth to that for sure. Oh, well, what are you going to do, man? Hopefully we'll get it all figured out and get it right one day. Somebody who's gotten it right, to me, is Miles Kennedy. This guy's got a phenomenal voice. Former singer of Steel Dragon.
Yes, he was.
He was in the movie Rockstar. That's where I first saw
that guy's been
Miles
in a lot
Kennedy.
of bands. Steel Dragon, he toured with Slash, he's in Alter Bridge.
Yeah.
Dude's got a lot going on.
Now Alter Bridge is back to being Creed.
They are.
So he's got his third solo album coming out on October 11th. It's called The Art of Letting Go. He has given us a new single, Say What You Will. Great video, by the way. The video, it centers around, I've watched it yesterday, and it's so great. It gave me kind of a Stranger Things vibe, but without the spiritual, mystical side of it. This young girl, she was being bullied in her school, and she kind of breaks out, because she's just real closed up and to herself and everything, kind of odd. But she breaks out of her shell with rock and roll. And then Miles and the band members all work at the school. that she's being bullied in. And I won't say any more because I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it yet, because it's a great video to watch right to the end to see what happens in this. But did want to play you a little clip of the new song from Miles Kennedy. Again, it's called Say What You Will. He is so legit. I mean, just straight rock and roll and a phenomenal voice. Great writer. Band is so tight.
Yep.
Just big fan. He is on tour in Europe the rest of this year. We'll do a North American tour in January and February. We don't have an Ohio date yet. If he doesn't add one, I would fully expect him to play Sonic or Inc. next year. You know, having the new album
wouldn't that be
coming
great?
out. Yeah,
Yes.
yes, it would. Again, the new album, The Art of Letting Go, from Miles Kennedy, will drop on October 11th.
It's Couples Therapy, 844, The Blitz, with Kelly Thick and Lewis Anthony sitting in traffic. Thanks, man. Said some nice things. Appreciate that. It's not changing the fact that he's going 25 miles an hour and stuck in traffic, but he did say some nice things to us, so I want to take a second to acknowledge Anthony on that drive on 70. Hopefully
What's going on there?
Yeah, do you know?
There was an earlier accident at 256. It's cleared up. He's at his location now. So, sorry about your slow drive there, buddy. Thanks for the nice, kind text, though. We always appreciate that.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
This actually came up last week, and it's an interesting thing to revisit because it came up as we were kind of winding down. So.
Oh, during couples therapy.
Yeah. So this one's good. Been with my wife 7 years. During the first 4, she cheated on me. Took her back, and there has been no cheating since. She'd started cheating because she wanted to get pregnant. When we got married, she knew I had had a vasectomy when I was 20. So I got a reversal to save my marriage and have children. But now that she's pregnant, I want to ask her for a paternity test just to put me at peace of mind. Is this wrong?
Ooh.
Davey wants to know.
Man, that's a tough one.
Is it?
Well, I mean, because, you know, if you took her back, you know, and you guys have been together for now, 3 years, no cheating that you know of, and you forgave her, but now you're not sure if you trust her, then did you really forgive her? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I see where it might be a little... It's going to be dicey. The question's dicey. I do feel like you have a right to ask it.
I know. I kind of do, too. That's got to be hanging in your head.
Sure.
You know?
I mean, these vasectomy reversals, are they 100% like... Do they work?
Well, you will find out. It's the same thing when you get the vasectomy.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You give little samples.
Several months later, you give a sample, and they tell you whether or not
you've got swimmers.
Yeah, whether or not you can,
I gotcha. Okay. All right.
So I assume that after reversing it, they'll be able to tell you,
Yeah. This is crazy, Davey. Bravo for being able to forgive 4 years of cheating. Although it does sound like you're not exactly 100% sure that she's not still cheating. This sounds like a really, really... it doesn't sound like a real firm foundation to bring a child into, but it's too late for that. So let's talk about the future. You should talk to your wife and you should say, listen, I love you. Obviously, I love you. I want to be with you. I'm just so still, I guess, hurt from the past, and I didn't realize it until you got pregnant. And now I'm like, I have all these questions, and like how I feel like, oh boy, buddy, you're right, Thick. I felt like it was easy at first, but now that I'm pretending like I'm asking the question, I feel like, how do you ask that without accusing the other person?
Considering for 4 years she was doing this
to get pregnant,
I think she probably should be understanding that he would like a paternity test. I feel like you did this for 4 years, so you ought to just give in on this.
It's going to be difficult, and it might put a little bit of like it's going to be an issue. Let's put it that way. This is something you're going to have to work through. But I think you can say, listen, for me to be able to move on and feel super happy about this pregnancy, you got to throw me a bone here. You got to do it at paternity test. I got to do paternity test.
I think if she says no, you're going to have more reason to worry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if you both have black hair and then the kid ends up being born a redhead and you didn't have the test done. And you're like, what?
This is you're already in a dicey situation, man. I'm sorry. I feel like you have to know. You have to know. Ask.
Yeah.
Ask, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Doug said once a cheater, always a cheater. Do you think that's true?
No. I
think it depends
individual by individual.
Yeah, I think it depends on the relationship. I think especially, and I can only speak from the male perspective, but I think when a guy's younger, he might be more prone to making mistakes. But I think when he, matures and changes, but then I also firmly believe in show me the most beautiful girl in the world, and I'll show you the guy tired of sleeping with her. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. But in this case, where they've both had conversations about the fact that there's been cheating going on, I don't think that he's out of line to ask her to get a paternity test.
That's what I'm saying.
It might cause some...
And she should understand.
Yeah.
No, it'll cause an issue. It's just hopefully you can work through this. The thing is that she cheated on you for 4 solid years and you've forgiven her. She owes you some forgiveness. She owes you some forgiveness in return for asking for a paternity test.
Jamie Bias said, my father had a vasectomy 2.5 years later. Here came Jamie.
All right. There you go.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
Dang.
Oh, boy. I do think it's reasonable to ask. Oh, you had a reversal?
No. I had a vasectomy. She didn't say he had a reversal. She said her dad had a vasectomy, but 2.5 years later, she was born.
Oh, he didn't have a reversal.
So maybe it didn't take?
I guess not. You didn't go to that follow-up appointment, did you, Dad?
I didn't have to go. All I had to do is send in a vial. And they let me know.
Gross.
I don't know. It's medical.
I know. You got to know.
Medical.
You got to know.
It's a medical issue.
I didn't get a vasectomy. I just stand by the microwave with it a lot.
Now Rocket says, just wait till the baby's born. Cotton swab the mouth, DNA test. Nobody has to know.
Hey!
Secretive.
Now, all right. Now, there's an issue, although I do think it shows a greater problem within your relationship.
Here we got another
if you
one.
have to do a secret paternity test. However... that might be the way to go, actually.
The method said you could forgive someone and be upset and still protect yourself. If you seek retribution, though, maybe you haven't forgiven that person. And that's true.
Yeah. That sounds reasonable. That sounds reasonable.
Amanda says, again, wait till the kid is born and do it.
Okay. See, it's interesting that it's the female who was cheating, because if this were reversed and they were having this discussion...
Yeah.
It would be, and remember 7 years ago when you cheated on me?
Well, it sounds like he's hanging on to it, too, to be fair.
Yeah, it's him. It's him.
But at the same time, you took her back.
Heather said, get a divorce, pal. You don't trust her. This is going to be toxic for the both of you, and it's only going to get worse from here. They'll do a paternity test for the divorce.
Yeah.
Then what happens is you find out it is your child, and then you're like, oh, and we're getting divorced.
The only thing I can think of is Davey must love his wife so much to tolerate 4 years of cheating and say, okay. We can work through this. That is mind-blowing to me.
You can't help who you love. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Rob from Mansfield said, sounds like my situation, instead of cheating on me, she's lied about being pregnant numerous times now and trying to claim it. I'm waiting on a test for results. So that's Rob from Mansfield. So, yeah. Ugh.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. That's
you got to ask, or you have to wait till the kid's born and then do it. I say that's the move.
Yeah.
You're already doubting that your wife is still being faithful to you. You're doubting her faithfulness. That is an issue, an absolute issue that needs to be handled. But in terms of the paternity, maybe wait till the baby's born and do it in private. Find out the results and then figure out how to go from there. Figure out how to deal with your relationship and the trust and all that from there. If it's not your baby, then I feel like obviously you gotta, you gotta pull the plug on that bad boy.
It's shady, but I gotta be honest. I like the cotton swab on the down low.
Me too.
Yeah, I really do.
I'm with you. I kind of do too.
Then you don't bring up anything ahead of time.
Yes.
You get that done, and then you know right away if you're sticking around or not. Then you can bring it up and go, yeah, you're on your own. That's not my kid.
Yeah.
Somebody said he must have a test done, otherwise he will forever wonder. And we got a lot of people saying, just ask her to do it. And how she responds will be your answer. You won't even need the test because you're going to know because if she gets mad and says no, and
here's one we missed for Shuerger. Erica said, if you're married in Ohio, you have to wait until the baby's born to divorce.
Really?
Is that real? I don't know. I'm reading. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting.
That doesn't feel right. I mean, you can obviously separate, so maybe you can't get a full divorce.
I understand that. That's understandable. I think that's understandable.
Davey chimed in and said, I've raised her 3 kids as my own and had them their whole lives. I do love her very much. That makes it difficult. And I know I have a friend of mine that has a child that you can clearly tell is not his biological, but he has been there since the birth of that child and raised that child. And that does make it a lot tougher to walk away.
Absolutely. All
right. Well, I do love that Davey is able to sort of pipe up again and give us a little more of the story here.
Yeah.
So he loves, like you read, he does love her, raised her 3 kids. Oh, Davey, you're that's a situation here. I don't know what you're going to do, but I do think you need to figure out the trust issues that you still have in your relationship, and I mean for good reason. You're not at fault for having trust issues, but that does have to be worked through, man. This is that's not a firm foundation to then raise another child on.
A couple of people have said that the wait to divorce till the kid's born is true.
Wow.
I mean, that makes sense to me. I don't think anybody needs to be going through that stress while you're going through that stress.
Heather said her ex ran out on her when she was 3 months, and with our 19-year-old, divorce could not be completed until after he was born. Wow. Okay.
I will say 100% of the people have said Davey needs to get that test. Needs to get the paternity test in one way or the other.
Yeah. But you can't do that till the baby's born, right?
I don't exactly know.
I don't know how you would do a paternity test till the baby's born. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe there is, but I don't think you can.
Yeah, your only question is whether to do it in secret or whether to do it out in the open.
I think there's a way to do a paternity test. The DNA's still there.
Yeah.
You just have to extract it. I mean, I don't
It just
know.
seems crazy to me.
I am not an expert at this.
Yeah, just wait till the baby's born, man. You've got to do it that way.
I like the swab on the low.
Kid might look exactly like you, Davey. And you're like, oh, there's no doubt that's my kid, But, yeah, and then if you do ask her, I think, without even doing the test, you're probably going to get your answer just based on how she responds to you asking her.
Phil said, my latest baby mama could not get her divorce completed until after our baby was born here in the state of Ohio. So I guess this is the thing. Okay. They can do Mary said they can do a maternity test in utero.
Yeah, there's no reason to invade your wife's uterus, right now. You can wait, can't you? You love her. You stated you really love this woman. Yeah. There's no harm in waiting.
All right. Well, I hope we helped Davey. If you would ever like to email us for couples therapy or anything, if you just want to get an unbiased opinion on anything, you can just email thickrick@theblitz.com.
No, I'm just going to say, I mean, we'll give you an opinion on anything. We might not even be right. We might just...
Well, no, but it's unbiased.
You might highly disagree with us.
We're not as close to the situation personally as you are, so you just get an unbiased, fair opinions from the three of us.
I will say that Davey is a great man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is he not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to raise anybody's
children,
that's for sure. And Davey, please, I'd be interested. Keep us posted.
Yeah, let us know.
Happens
let us know what. I hope it's yours, Davey, and I hope it's a very healthy, wonderful child, and you guys stay together and have a great life. That's what I'm hoping
I would
for.
get the test for peace of mind, if nothing else.
Yeah. By the way, I also want to say congrats to Robert from Mansfield earlier. He was the 50th text, and he got those tickets to see Sarah Silverman.
Nice.
We'll give away another pair. It's coming up tomorrow morning.
Three things you need to know before you go.
This is the weirdest and most disturbing trial that's happening right now in Columbus. It's for a man accused of recording himself beating and killing a man inside an extended stay on Sawmill Road and then posting the video on Snapchat. 35-year-old Timothy Kendrick is facing a list of counts, including aggravated murder, kidnapping, and abuse of a corpse. And detectives say they have the Snapchat videos. These videos show Kendrick beating, stabbing, and ultimately killing 30-year-old Drew Mendelbaum in July of 2021. Drew's body was found burned and wrapped in a shower curtain outside a doctor's office on Sawmill Road. Investigators say they believe Kendrick met Mendelbaum at a gas station just a few hours before this murder happened. What a wild trial to be on as a jury member.
Crazy.
Our neighbors are on that jury right now hearing these disturbing details.
Jeez.
That's got to change you. Well, a lawsuit has been filed against a hospital in Michigan by the lead singer of the legendary group The Four Tops. Alexander Morris says he was battered by some staff members and racially discriminated against in April of last year when he went there for help for a breathing issue. It was at the Ascension Macomb Oakland Hospital. The lawsuit claims that the hospital staff did not believe he was a member of the group The Four Tops. So they put him in restraints and ordered a psychological evaluation. They thought he was some nut claiming to be the lead singer of the Four Tops.
Why would you just assume he's crazy?
I don't know.
Just because he's famous?
They put him in restraints and ordered a psych eval. So he's suing. I hope you win. I hope you win. My gosh. Hey, let's talk about Joey Chestnut.
In second place with 63 hot dogs and buns, Takeru Kobayashi.
Chestnut has done it!
In first place with 66 hot dogs and buns, Joey Chestnut!
Baby, it's been the best 3 years of my life, and I can't live without you. You marry me?
Yes!
Propose right there.
A new world record. 74 Nathan's famous hot dogs and buns.
He's done it! Joey Chestnut has the new world record.
With 62 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes for his 16th win. I give you the #1 ranked eater in the world, Joey Chestnut!
So, Joey Chestnut has been banned from this July 4th Nathan's Famous International Hot Dog Eating Contest.
Crazy.
So here's the deal. Apparently, Joey Chestnut signed a deal with Impossible Foods, the vegan food brand Impossible Foods. So apparently he is not allowed to be in this Nathan's Famous International Hot Dog Eating Contest anymore. They banned him because he signed with a vegan food company.
You know,
I mean, does he want to be in it now that is he a vegan? I mean,
no, he's just, I don't think that has anything to do with
well,
it.
why would Impossible Foods sign Joey Chestnut?
I kind of find feel some similarity here. After 16 weeks of winning Soundiculous and just being, dominant, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I signed an endorsement with Pictionary.
Okay.
So I've kind of let the last 2 weeks go to Rick.
I gotcha.
Because of that endorsement.
Yeah.
So it's been a little different.
You're banned.
I was not born with enough middle fingers.
So what's interesting, I guess, that maybe the view of Impossible Foods is, look, this amazing, famous, contest-winning meat eater loves our brand, loves our meatless foods, so we want him. And I'm assuming Joey Chestnut still eats meat.
Well, yeah, but see, this is not like the only tournament he wins. He is the world's #1 eater. He's won all kinds of different food eating contests.
Well,
some not meat, some meat.
Maybe he's moved on. Maybe he doesn't eat meat, but he does still like the bone.
Maybe Nathan should be forced to approve what's in their hot dog.
I don't see where he banned himself because he signed a deal with a competitor. However,
is it a competitor?
That's my question. Is it a competitor? It would be different if he said, "Hey, see you, Nathan's. I'm going over here to Oscar Mayer."
Yeah,
like a direct competitor.
I don't know. Maybe it is a clash of interest or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sure that's what it is.
But,
and that's fine. I want to know who's breathing down Joey Chestnut's neck in terms of like winning, because we know Kobayashi won a few years and is.
I don't think he does it anymore.
I don't think so either. There's a guy I've seen win second place twice against Joey Chestnut. His name's Jeffrey Esper.
Yes.
So maybe he's the guy this year? I don't know. And furthermore, the same woman has won the women's side of this hot dog eating contest for year after year. The only year she didn't seem to win it is 2021 when she was pregnant. Her name is Mikey Sudo.
Sudo, yeah.
She wins all the time.
Yeah.
We never hear about her because
she's so little,
she eats
too.
significantly less than Joey Chestnut.
Well, she's so little. I don't know how she wins. I mean, I can't.
Listen,
it's like, where did all those hot dogs go?
Last year, Joey Chestnut ate 62 hot dogs, and Mickey Sudo, she ate 39 and a half.
Yeah.
So he out-ate her by 22.5 hot dogs.
Yeah, and he's dropping too because he had the record at 74.
Maybe
no, he's not in his prime anymore, is he?
Yeah, but he's still winning.
Did you ever think of this? Perhaps maybe Joey has hated hot dogs all this time, and he was like, every time somebody sees me, they want me to eat a hot dog. What's the one way I can get away? I know. I'll go vegan. That way no one will force hot dogs down my throat anymore.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. Thick Rick and I have always wanted to be some type of a world record holder, and I feel like now's the time to swoop in for you, Thick, because there's no Joey Chestnut.
There's no way.
Now's the time, baby. Let's start practicing.
I can't
start training now.
Start training now.
You're on a 50 hot dog a day regimen.
I can't.
You just have to poke those things down whole.
Yeah.
I think you just gotta
open up and let it slide down.
Don't you have to wet the bun?
Oh,
too?
they dip it and then they just swallow it.
Oh,
and then the hot dog goes in. And
do you want condiments? Do you want condiments?
No, they don't use condiments. You don't use condiments.
Why can't you?
I suppose you can, but that's just extra time and food going into your mouth.
It's a 10-minute competition.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Why was it that big of a deal that you had to cut him out of this? Because he is your big TV draw for this thing. I'm like, I don't even want to watch now. I watch this thing every year to see if he wins every year. Now I'm like, well, I've seen people do this. Sure. I don't care now.
I've never seen a minute of it.
It's
hot
great.
Dog eating contest.
Oh, it's fantastic. The pageantry of it. That announcer alone is worth it.
Couldn't you use the condiments as a form of lube on the hot dog?
I suppose.
It's just extra calories, though. It's extra stuff in there making your stomach sick.
If you're eating 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes, is calories really on your...
No, but, it's like...
No, but it's more stuff in your gut,
right.
That your gut has to make room for, even though it's just like swimming around in ketchup and mustard.
I'll eat 74 hot dogs, but I'm watching my calories, and I am not getting to 75.
Right. All right, guys. Those are your 3 things.